So, if there are already hands up, I will take the question. So, while we are waiting, let me put this to you. I know it's a difficult question, but I think it's important. As you said in your speech, and as we have observed, the task of reconciliation within Canada between the faith and the history of the present state of the people living in the north and the rest of Canada has been quite a challenge. And some of us have had the thought that maybe Canada was so occupied with this enormous task of reconciliation that your engagement in this sort of pan-Arctic cooperation across this wide area has perhaps not been on the scale that many of us had wished for, because Canada is a formidable part of the Arctic structure. So when do you think this state of affair will change this process of reconciliation? So the emphasis will be more on sort of cooperation with other parts of the Arctic, whether it's Greenland or Alaska or Iceland or whatever, after having more or less come to a sufficient, comfortable state of reconciliation within Canada?
Well, that's an interesting question. I can say that Arctic sovereignty is more about making sure that the people living within Canada, half of which are Indigenous in the north and the Arctic, have safe, affordable housing, have access to good, healthy food, and are not lagging behind non-Indigenous people in terms of the essentials of life. So Canada has not always treated Indigenous nations and peoples well, and which is why our government has made reconciliation a priority, not only for me as Northern Affairs Minister, but every minister in the cabinet has reconciliation objectives and goals in their mandate letters, and that is unique. We also have the environment in our mandate letters, and that also is unique. I believe that Canada has always taken our northern and Arctic engagements seriously. I believe we've worked well with other nations across the world, but we can do better. We need to do better. The North and the Arctic has never been as important as it is today for a variety of reasons. One, of course, is climate change. One, of course, is the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and we know many nations now are looking at the Arctic as more significant. So we are committed to working multilaterally with other nations in forums such as this one. Arctic Circle, I think, does important work, and you can count on us and rely on us to be a fulsome partner in making sure that people living in the Arctic are thriving, are strong, and are safe.
Thank you. So let me see if there are questions. Yeah. Yes, let's take one there. Introduce yourself.
Yes, of course. Hello, my name is Harrison Collins. I'm a master's student of Earth Sciences at the University of Iceland. My question to you is about the conversation of rare earth mining or critical mineral mining in Canada. You mentioned that your administration is taking steps to make sure social justice and equity between the fishery industry and the mining industry, among others. And we also know that there are abundant resources of such minerals within the Arctic, including Canada. What is your administration doing to make sure that if developments move forward with these mines, that the profits and the resources are distributed equitably and justly to Indigenous groups and local communities? Thank you.
Thank you for that excellent question, and you're absolutely right. Critical minerals are an essential part of Canada's future. We know that the world is turning towards renewable resources, green energy, and much of the green energy that is going to be needed are going to come from critical minerals that the North has plenty of to power that green energy. So it's essential that that we work with the industry, but we also work with Canadians and Indigenous nations whose territory the critical minerals are located on. We've introduced a $4 billion critical mineral strategy in Canada. Many tens of millions of that is for a northern strategy, for land use planning, for regulatory improvements, for engagement with Indigenous people. So it's important that Indigenous nations and people are at the forefront of these projects. And it's also important that Indigenous peoples, and in many cases owners of the land, are not only at the forefront, but are equity partners in many of the projects that come forward. So we'd like to see Indigenous peoples not only supportive, but equity partners of major projects that come forward for approval. And I believe that's a substantial mind shift in thinking for Canada, and we believe that is the only way to move forward in partnership.
Okay, if there's a final question, we will take that. So
There's one right there.
yes, there behind you.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. My name is Mark Lantain. I'm an associate professor with the University of Tromsø. Very much appreciated your comments about the role of knowledge, including the role of traditional and Indigenous knowledge. I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit further, though. Over the past few months, we've seen some very graphic examples of how climate change is affecting the Canadian North, and this has led to a lot of questions about the need for improved transportation, communication, and by association, education.
Yes.
What kind of lessons have been learned over the past few months that have furthered this dialogue within the Canadian government and elsewhere? Merci beaucoup.
I think every situation is unique depending on the area that you're talking about, so I'm not going to get into too much detail on specific areas, but I think the philosophy generally that Indigenous knowledge is valuable. Inuit people have lived in the land since time immemorial, and we have a recognition that that knowledge can add substantially to any given situation, whether it's transportation related, whether it's resource development related, whether it's environmentally related. So there's just that philosophical shift that we appreciate that. And we not only appreciate that, we think it is essential for projects to go forward and to address the important issues that Canada faces into the future. So it's a philosophical shift. I think that knowledge is essential.
Well, thank you very much, Minister, for this fascinating insight into the state of Northern affairs within Canada and the fundamental challenges you are dealing with. We will be looking forward to having you return next year, because part of the Arctic dialogue is to learn from these challenges in Canada and how they are met and how they are solved. So we had your Governor General here last year. We are very pleased to have you, and we are looking forward to enhanced Canadian engagement in the Assembly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's great being here. Look forward to coming back. Thank you.